He bet a long snapper would go in the second round.
The long snapper from Florida is still waiting for his name to be called.
Now this is EJ. EJ tuned into SportsGrid's draft coverage. He checked the app, tracked the markets, followed the pros. He didn't guess. He knew. BEJ SportsGrid draft coverage starts Thursday at 7:30 p.m. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
If you're gonna trade Durant, right? It means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Hello and welcome to a Wednesday live right here on the early line on SportsGrid and all across the SportsGrid network. That includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination to consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie right side. I am Ben Stevens. We are here together for the next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern time. A Wednesday morning to recap a triple header of Tuesday night action around the association in the NBA playoffs. 3 game twos where every team at home was booked as a favorite. 2 of those teams trying to take a commanding 2-0 series advantage. The other just trying to draw even. And spoiler alert, all of the home favorites won. All of the home favorites covered. We'll tell you how that happened in just a little bit. We'll go around a full Tuesday slate in Major League Baseball. And now, DRS, it is NFL Draft Eve. So many betting markets have opened up and so many numbers have been on the move. A focus on the quarterbacks on this Wednesday live right here on TEL.
Yeah, good show set up for us today. And again, yesterday in the NBA, 3 games there, 2-1 on sides for me yesterday. The only one I missed was the Vancouver Grizzlies, as I should call them, not the Memphis Grizzlies, losing by about 20 points. But also, how about the Pacers, right? I told you yesterday, Ben, right here on the show, bring me back Damian Lillard, drop that point spread, and watch me take the Pacers, which is exactly what happened yesterday. Also, Major League Baseball, very profitable for your boy DRS. Here's the crime of it sometimes, Ben. I had a 550-1 parlay last night. Only had $1 on it. So you can look at it both ways, like, hey, that's still a nice return. Or, oh, if I would have had $5 or $10 on that, what that return could have actually have been last night. So I'm living the high life right now.
Wait.
Super Bowl trophies are about to be delivered, and we're enjoying ourselves, BWS. Yes.
You hit a 550-1 parlay yesterday in MLB?
Yes. I did do that. And the funny part about it is I never really bet the parlays end of it, but they give you the option. Like, you want to take the sides, which I don't bet very much, in, let's just say, April baseball. 10, 15, $20 on maybe an RBI bet plus 165. But I did the 3+ hits, runs, and RBI market, and the thing popped up at the bottom. It's like, would you like to put, a parlay on this? So like, let me throw $1 on that. So I wake up this morning with a little bit extra money in my account and realize I actually hit the parlay last night. So again, it's like, that's awesome. You hit a 550-1 parlay. But it's still cool that I had the fortitude to at least put $1 down on it. But, boy, if you would have put $5, $10, $15 on it, we'd have been living large this morning.
Listen, better's hindsight, but a win is a
exactly.
win on
Correct.
a
That's how I looked at it.
550 to 1
Yeah.
parlay. DRS. That's
Yeah.
why we're blessed each and every day
nice.
to be alongside one of the co-hosts of Pro Baseball today. We'll dive into MLB in just a little bit. Let's start with our triple header of action last night in the NBA playoffs. The LA Lakers, the one of our three home favorites last night, DRS, not just looking for a win to take a commanding 2-0 series lead, but looking for a win to even up their opening round set against the Minnesota Timberwolves in a low-scoring affair. Neither team gets to 95. It's exactly what the Lakers do, 94-85. The victory for LA at home last night. The Lakers cover as a 5.5-point home favorite. A total of 210 does stay well under. We expected LeBron James to be better. He was. He got over that 20-point margin. But DRS, this is why you get the international superstar in Luka Doncic. 2 games in a Laker uniform in his postseason career in the purple and gold, each north of 30. He scores 31 last night to lead the Lakers to a monumental Game 2 win.
Yep, you want to get LeBron James back in the fold. Took 19 shot attempts last night, 21 points, but also dipped into 7 assists and 11 rebounds. And then, as you just talked about, Luka Doncic, great as usual. What do you always want to see from a team that's down in the series? Give me that first quarter energy that I need. 34-15 first quarter win by the Los Angeles Lakers really set the tone for the rest of the night. Lakers needed that game and got it and covered.
DRS, both of the games in this series have stayed under. 6th matchup last night between the T-Wolves and the Lakers. All 6 games this year have stayed under. That was the lowest scoring affair we had seen. We talked about this yesterday. Largest favorite on the card, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA's best team all year long, the 1 seed in the Western Conference. 14.5-point home favorite in game number 2 after absolutely routing the Grizzlies by 51 points in game number 1. Turns out it was not a fluke. The Thunder win big at home once again, this time not by 50 plus, but close to 20, 118-99. OKC takes that 2-0 series lead, has covered in both, including last night as a 14.5-point favorite.
Yeah, had the cover in their sights last night for the Memphis Grizzlies, but fell down in the fourth quarter 28-20, which is going to happen. They're not as good as OKC. There's no question about it, but I thought they could stay within 15 points. They didn't do that last night. And how about Ja Morant? Points prop 22.5, finishes with 23 points yesterday, but not efficient enough. 10 of 25. I knew he was going to be the focus of that offense. He just had to be more efficient last night. They weren't. They were not going to be able to hang around OKC. Surprising if they get one game, maybe, but I do think it's lining up for me, to be honest, with a gentleman's sweep in this 1-5.
I don't think it's 5. I think it's 4. I think Oklahoma City is about to rout the Memphis Grizzlies in this opening round. The Thunder led by 18 at the break. Did have a trailing third quarter, but showed their might late. SGA scoring 27 points. Dame returned last night for the first time in over a month for Milwaukee. Line worked back to the Bucks. Only a 4-point spread in favor of the Pacers at home in Indianapolis. As DRS has already said, didn't make a lick of difference. Indiana wins by 8, 123-115. The Pacers take that commanding 2-0 series advantage. They have covered in both games as a home favorite so far in Indy.
Nailed Damian Lillard. By the way, he played 37 minutes last night. I said, I think it was something like, I can't wait for him to shoot like 3 of 15 from the floor. Well, I actually went 4 of 13, so he was slightly better than that. But when you put a player back in the lineup of his dominance, like on offense, he's going to get his shot attempts up, and he's not ready to play just yet. That's why I like the Pacers. Most people would take a look at that game. Hey, man, Dame's coming back. I saw the exact opposite. Love the Pacers last night. Love the drop in the point spread. Love the cover for the Pacers as they sit up 2-0 against the Milwaukee Bucks.
3 more Game 2s tonight that will feature the reigning NBA champs and the Boston Celtics. Peyton Pritchard. Pritch better have my money. Wins 6th man of the year around the NBA yesterday. For tonight's Game 2 inside TD Garden. Jason Tatum dealing with a wrist injury, listed as doubtful.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, too. And you take a look at an ultra-low total in that game as well. We'll see that one play out. I'm interested to see if maybe Orlando can be competitive enough to steal a game with Tatum possibly out.
Did move the line from about a 13-point number closer to 10. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. Jerry Jones, as the Cowboys are getting ready for the NFL draft starting tomorrow, said his organization is working on substantive trades as of this moment. whatever the F that means.
Yeah, maybe it meant like significant trades, but what's significant to Jerry Jones? Like we traded for a punter or a backup offensive line. We have no idea what Dallas is doing, but I guarantee you this, probably not going to help them win a Super Bowl this year. How about that?
No, it is not. Yesterday, a couple of voluntary offseason workout programs beginning around the NFL. Brock Purdy looking for that new contract with the Niners did show up. George Kittle looking for the same new contract with the Niners did not.
Hold strong, San Francisco. Not on Kittle. Bring him back and pay him what he needs. One of the best tight ends in football. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. Let him go to the open market. He's not going to get as much as he thinks he's going to get there with the San Francisco 49ers. Hold strong, San Francisco. This guy should not be making $50+ million a year. I'm sorry.
Would go to the open market after this upcoming season, still in the final year of his rookie deal. 4 games last night on the ice in the Stanley Cup postseason. The Toronto Maple Leafs win in overtime over the Ottawa Senators. DRS just looking for a round 1 win. The rest of the NHL a little bit later on. NBA playoffs up next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
A recap here in this opening hour of a Wednesday on the Early Line on SportsGrid of what we saw last night on a Tuesday and a triple header of action in the NBA playoffs. We start with our final game of the night, the Lakers and the Timberwolves in LA. The T-Wolves won by 22 on the road Saturday night in game number 1, outright as a 4.5-point dog to take a 1-0 series lead and steal that opening game of the set. How would LA respond last night? They needed to win on home floor to even up the series, And that's exactly what LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers did accomplish. Low scoring tilt, 94-85, but that is playoff basketball. Luka Doncic, 37 in game 1, 31 in game 2, a career playoff scoring average of 31 points per game. Second best, only behind Michael Jordan in NBA history. Showing up when it matters, LeBron James, a better night in game 2, and the Lakers have evened this series at a game apiece.
Needed it and got it. And LeBron James coming in last night said, let's pump it up NWA just to get my mindset here that we got to play a good brand of defensive basketball. And boy, did they do that. 38% from the floor for the Minnesota Timberwolves, which included a 5 of 25 from three-point range. Now you look at the Lakers, weren't much better from three-point range, but significantly better at 45% overall as a team. If you'd have told me coming into the game, by the way, the Lakers are only going to shoot 20% from three-point range and 45% from the floor, I'm not so sure they cover the game, let alone win that game here, but they did. Why? Because the defense was there, and also the attitude of we cannot lose this game on our home court, and you need your best players, your superstars, to step up. LeBron James did that. Luka Doncic did that. They came away with a victory, feeling much better about themselves, going 1-1 back to Minnesota. A must-win game for the Lakers, and they won it.
LeBron James still under his points prop of 24 in a hook, finishing with only 21. 11 boards, though, and 7 dimes. A lot better all throughout last night for the Lakers. Again, Luka Doncic, 31 points, not nearly as efficient last night from the floor. 9 of 20 from the field, 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, but a perfect 11 of 11 from the charity stripe. Julius Randle leading scorer for Minnesota, finishing with 27. Anthony Edwards only 25, 2 of 8 from 3. The 3-ball was the difference for the Timberwolves DRS in game number 1. I believe they hit 21 total triples as a team, 5 of 25 last night for the Timberwolves. Minnesota's still a really good underdog this season. They are the best cover team as an underdog around the association all year long, including these opening 2 of this first-round playoff set. 13-7-1 against the spread. But the Lakers needed that game. And as a 5.5-point home favorite, they do get it. Both of the games in this series have stayed under. DRS 6th meeting this year between Minnesota and LA. All 6 games have trended toward the under.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, too, because you expect that in playoff basketball, but not 94 to 85 per se, because there are superstars on both sides. But maybe it's just like Rudy Gobert at the rim, doesn't give you much on offense, but as a rim protector. And if the 3-ball isn't going down, you are going to have a lower scoring game. But also, understand this. Toughness of getting baskets here. You look at Anthony Edwards, 10 of 22, inefficient in that game. But you look at the assist number for the team itself, Ben. Only 14 total assists in an NBA game for an NBA franchise. That's really low. It just means shots weren't falling and the buckets were so hard to get and a lot of one-on-one play. That needs to change up. But if you do want to look at the series as a whole so far, it still is mission accomplished for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Ben. Taking home court advantage away from the Lakers would have been great for them to win game number 2. I didn't think they would, and I thought the Lakers would have a strong effort, and they did. But I don't think Minnesota's going home deflated 1-1 specifically after how low scoring that game was. Use it the home cooking, which means the bench players do play better. You got a great game at a game number 1 for Naz Reid. Only 9 points in game number 2, which included only 1 3-point shot made. Let's see the energy and the tempo that the Timberwolves provide once they get back to Minnesota. But from last night, that's what the Lakers needed. Slow that offense down, win that basketball game.
DRS, we were breaking down this game in saying, although we were both convinced and we liked the Lakers laying 5.5, that wager cashes, we did not expect it to be a 15 or 20-point rout. Minnesota would probably stay within that game, and they did, despite a terrible opening quarter in LA. They fought their way back throughout the remainder of those 36 minutes to make it a respectable effort. So it's been really interesting following the series outright odds already for this opening round set between the T-Wolves and the Lakers. LA close to a $2 minus money favorite entering game number 1, around a minus 196 price. They lose game 1. The T-Wolves take it. They entered last night as a minus 134 favorite to win the series outright, but as a 5.5-point dog. So the Lakers take care of home floor advantage, splitting the first 2 games. Donnie, we get ready to go to Minnesota on Friday night, where this series is a dead even pick'em as of this moment. Minus 108 for both the Lakers and the Timberwolves.
It should be. That's the way it is. Like when you have home court advantage in the NBA in the playoffs and it's on your side, you are supposed to be the favorites. That's just the way it is, depending on how the series is going to break down, obviously with injuries, which we're not seeing them in the series so far. It's up to the Lakers. Now, if you said, Donnie, free bet, in this market, who would you take? It still would be the Lakers. Because, again, some of that conspiracy theory bones in my body jump out and be like, ain't no way the Lakers are going to let them win round number one and not push the NBA through with the Lakers all the way through as far as they can get. Now, granted, sometimes it doesn't play out that way, but I liked what I saw from the Lakers. There's no reason to believe that the Lakers can't go on the road and win one of those games in Minnesota to come back to Los Angeles in a best of three, where the Lakers then would have home court advantage. That's the way I see it playing out. Liked what I saw from the Lakers defensively. I think the offense will get better as well. I think they can hold the Timberwolves at bay here. I would take the Lakers in this series after winning game number 2.
Yeah, not a conspiracy theorist. When you have Luka Doncic and LeBron James, you should win an opening round playoff series. It is intriguing to see the Lakers still as the series spread underdog, getting a game and a half, but of course you would have to pay substantial juice. But one of the big changes as well, DRS, entering last night, as the T-Wolves had stolen home floor advantage from LA, they were the series favorites in the shortest total games market was 6 at plus 155. Now it is 7, also at plus 155. Expecting this maybe to go the entire duration of the set, where the Lakers would have home floor advantage in that case. The Lakers, by the way, for game number 3 on Friday in the Twin Cities, 3-point road underdog. Elsewhere around the association, including in Indianapolis. Up next.
This is Greg. He bet a long snapper would go in the second round.
The long snapper from Florida is still waiting for his name to be called.
Now this is EJ. EJ tuned into SportsGrid's draft coverage. He checked the app, tracked the markets, followed the pros. He didn't guess. He knew. Be EJ. SportsGrid draft coverage starts Thursday at 7:30 p.m. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, you get rid of Booker, because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Game number 2 last night in Indianapolis in the 4-5 matchup in the Eastern Conference. And the big news, of course, was the return of Damian Lillard. His first game in over a month. His first outing for Milwaukee since March 18th. Cleared of the blood clot. Some very good health news for Dame. What would it mean for Game 2 in the entirety of this opening round set? Well, DRS, at least pregame, what it meant was a shorter spread in favor of Indiana. When the Game 2 line opened up after the Pacers won game number 1 by 19, it was a 4.5, 5-point spread in favor of Indiana, closed at only 4 in favor of the Pacers after we got news of Dame's return. Didn't really matter. The Pacers win and cover. 123-115. 2-0 series lead for the Pacers. The team, of course, that played in the Eastern Conference Finals a season ago. Maybe we should be putting some more respect on the Pacers' name.
Yeah, at least over the Bucks at this point, right? You take a look at Giannis, played his 40 minutes last night, 14 of 20 from the floor, ended up with 34 points. Bobby Portis comes off the bench, 11 of 19 from the floor, which included 6 of 11 from three-point range, 12 rebounds and 28 points, and you still got beat. And you might look at that final score, it was within 8, and yes, the game was a little bit closer in the fourth quarter, but the Pacers were the better team all the way through game number 1 and all the way through game number 2. Now, Damian Lillard's going to work his way back into form, but what is that going to matter if they're down, let's just say 3-1, heading back to Indianapolis at that point? I don't think it's going to help them all that much. I'm impressed with the way the Pacers are coming at, handling their business, and talking the trash behind it, because it looks like it's a great rivalry so far. The one thing I always get a kick out of, too, and sometimes like the NFL will point it out, like the optics of the game, where they don't like it to be embarrassing. And the reason I bring that up is we talk about like the tush push, where Frankie Louvu was jumping over the pile in the NFC Championship game. The NFL's like, look, this play could work, but we don't want this play to become a mockery, and maybe we have to change some rules, which you're going to talk about now. The reason I bring this up is the NBA can't like that Giannis goes to the free throw line, and in the playoffs, respectively, everybody's going to count. And he's over the count every single time, and there's never a foul occurrence on Giannis to take away the free throw at this point. I do get a kick out of that, but again, Giannis at the free throw line, 6 of 10, you'll probably take that. Put it this way, the Bucks just aren't as good as what they should be on paper, and it hasn't translated at all this season, and it's showing up again in the playoffs.
40 minutes for Giannis last night, 14 of 20 from the floor, 34 points, 18 boards, 7 dimes. Giannis scored 36 in game number 1. The other 4 Milwaukee starters combined for just 14. This guy is trying to do everything that he possibly can. But DRS, it's now been 2 seasons forming this superstar tandem of Giannis and Dame. If they get ousted here in the opening round and Dame only missed a single game, is it time to make some changes inside the Pfizer Forum? Would that include the dismissal of a head coach who can't win a lick of anything in the postseason? That would be Doc Rivers. By the way, for Dame in his first game since March 18th, 4 of 13 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3, 14 points in 37 minutes. Really did not make the difference and move the needle for Milwaukee as maybe we expected it to. Meanwhile, everybody for Indiana on this balanced Pacers side, all 5 starters score at least 15 points, 6 players in double figures, and DRS on the same day that an athletic poll came out where Tyrese Halliburton was voted the most overrated player in the association by his fellow NBA players. He drops a 21-point, 12-assist double-double, and then backed it up, talking a little smack to Damian Lillard in the game.
I love it, too. Look at that starting 5, too, which, again, you're talking about Tyrese Halliburton, 21 and 12 in that game, 17 out of Nembhard, 15 out of Turner, 16 out of Nesmith, and also Siakam with 24 points. I love to see that. That's a lot of balance out here, which is something you are not going to get from the Milwaukee Bucks. You're basically Giannis and please somebody come help me out. And to your point further on top of that with the Milwaukee Bucks and where they might go in the offseason, let's understand this. Like, Dame never wanted to be in Milwaukee. Dame wanted to go to Miami, ended up in Siberia up there in Wisconsin. And I remember him saying his exact quotes, there's nothing to do here but play basketball and video games. There's nothing here. So I wouldn't be surprised they get bounced round number 1. Dame's like, get me the heck out of here. I never wanted to be here to begin with.
The Pacers, the last 2 postseasons, of course, an Indiana team that reached the Eastern Conference Finals, had some injury bad luck against the Boston Celtics, and did get swept. They're still 12-7 against the spread in their last 2 playoff runs, including a cover as a home favorite in Indy in the opening 2 games of this series. The Pacers were around a $1.50 favorite entering game number 1, minus 260 entering game number 2 last night with some market movement for the expected return of Dame. Now the Pacers minus 520. We'll get Donnie's thoughts on if this series is already signed, sealed, and delivered, and a check-in on Oklahoma City, where that series is done as well. Next.
Travis knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Hasn't been a ton of indication that Cleveland is even looking at anybody outside of Travis Hunter. The Giants, yes, have worked out Shedeur Sanders.
I do think there's going to be at least 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Not because they deserve to be first round, have a first round grade on them per se, but the fact that you get the extra year of control, somebody's going to slide into one of those 30, 31, or 32 slots and grab a quarterback.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats typically in your direction if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid. This is Greg. He bet a long snapper would go in the second round.
The long snapper from Florida is still waiting for his name to be called.
Now this is EJ. EJ tuned into SportsGrid's draft coverage. He checked the app, tracked the markets, followed the pros. He didn't guess. He knew. Be EJ. SportsGrid draft coverage starts Thursday at 7:30 p.m. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So, is the opening round series between the Pacers and the Bucks already done? Is the writing on the wall in Milwaukee? The Bucks trail 0-2 after the first 2 in Indianapolis as we get ready to go to Wisconsin. DRS, as we showed, when you look at the series outright odds now, the Pacers greater than a $5 minus money favorite. I thought the Bucks would stay in this series mainly because of Giannis not even truly aware of what the hell situation would be around Damian Lillard, or at least maybe not expecting him to come back in this opening round set. I didn't care. I was kind of dead wrong. You have always believed in Indiana winning this first round series, handling home court business in the opening 2 games. So as you see it, how much longer do we have to go in this set between the Bucks and the Pacers?
I think it probably sets up for me as a gentleman sweep in this point. And the great Vince Carter, as he once said, it's over. It's over at this point right now. Now, understand this. There are some buyback points that I do like, and it might not be in the series prices where it's, hey, Donnie, take a flyer on plus 400, or do you like Milwaukee plus 2.5 games? Some of those could make some sense. Again, if we do win game number 3 for the Bucks, and I think there's a really good chance they do that, that's the kitchen sink game. We go down 3-0, it's a coronation, just a matter of when it ends. But 2-1, you can sort of dip back into it. I am buying, absolutely buying Giannis Antetokounmpo in game number 3, because you know he's going to pull out his best move, Ben. Get the ball at half court, take one dribble, crash into all 5 defenders at once, and try to lay it in and at least get to the free throw line. I'm buying Antetokounmpo big, but I'm not buying the Bucks for this series. The Pacers are better. They proved that in games 1 and 2. Dame coming back is just an illusion. Didn't help them in the regular season. Won't help them now. And I don't think they can overcome a 2-0 series lead. Even, Ben, if they win both of these games in Milwaukee, it's still a best of 3 with Indiana with home court advantage. Those to the victors goes the spoils, as we like to say. A better regular season might have changed that for Milwaukee. But right now, I'm all pacered up right now. But I do expect a monster performance by Antetokounmpo.
Which he has done, 70 combined points in his first 2 games in this series against Indiana. The Pacers, of course, home floor advantage. They handle their business. We will go to Milwaukee inside the Pfizer Forum on Friday night. The Bucks booked as a 4.5-point home favorite, which is good to see Milwaukee as a favorite if you believe in the Bucks, because after last night, DRS, with Dame in the lineup and a non-cover on the road as a 4-point underdog in Indy, with Damian Lillard in the fold, Milwaukee is now 8-12-1 against the spread as an underdog this year against playoff teams. Not exactly the best recipe for a team in an 0-2 hole. And we see that represented in the odds. Milwaukee getting 2.5 games on the series spread is minus 118. If the Bucks can force a 6th game, they will cash that wager. But to DRS's point, you see what the shortest game total is. That would be 5 at plus 195. The only team that can win in 5 games this series, that would be Indiana. Some better value there if you believe the gentleman's sweep is the outcome. The Pacers in 5 at plus 210. So that series, although Milwaukee might win a game, at most 2, probably feels as though it's in the books. The only thing, DRS, I think we have to determine about the Thunder and the Grizzlies opening round set is if Memphis will win a game. And based on the 2 performances in OKC, I would say that's not looking very likely. A 51-point win for the Thunder in game number 1. Not quite 50, but nearly 20. A 19-point win for OKC last night in game number 2. 118-99. Thunder come out on top, covering as a 14.5-point home favorite.
Didn't even play great either. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 10 of 29 from the floor, 27 points, which you like the points production, but not how they actually got there. Williams at 24 and Chet Holmgren much better with 20 points. But look at the box score, 118-99. Oh, well, OKC played really well and Memphis Grizzlies didn't. How about 43% shooting at home for OKC? How about 33% from the three-point line for OKC and still winning that game by close to 20 points? That's incredible. That shows you how deep and talented OKC is, where things don't have to go great for us, and we can still wipe the floor with teams that we feel are inferior. Now, granted, Memphis is the inferior team, and we think that Oklahoma City is the best overall team in the NBA. But again, it is very hard to sweep. There's one thing that we do know. If Memphis gets busted up in game number 3, it is going to be an absolute rout in game number 4, as they know they can't come back, and why even get on a plane to go back to OKC. So if you are looking for Memphis to make this at least a gentleman's sweep, you're just looking at money line in game number 3 and letting it roll. Because if they don't win that game outright, game 3, they're not winning outright in game number 4 to get that gentleman's sweep, which OKC would win on their home court for game number 5.
It's a really good point, DRS. Game number 3 on Thursday. So a quicker turnaround as we go to tomorrow night, despite that change in venue, the change of location. OKC, 8.5-point road favorite in the Grind City. That money line number right now on the Grizzlies, plus 295. That might be the only bet worth making for the entirety of this series where things stand right now. Quickly back to last night, game number 2 in Oklahoma City. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the 51-point rout on Sunday only scored 15. The presumed MVP in the regular season this year. Donnie and I expected him to have a better night. You were not getting a discount from the player prop perspective. It was still 31.5. You see 27 points, the game's leading scorer for Gilgeous-Alexander, and you think, all right, great performance. Not really. 10 of 29 from the floor, 3 of 10 from beyond the arc. Donnie, SGA is not playing at his best level right now, and OKC is still barnstorming over this Memphis side. I'm going to look to SGA in game number 3, because if Memphis can keep it around that number, can keep it around the 8.5-point spread, the Thunder will be tested for all 4 quarters. They led by 18 at the break. Memphis did cut it to single digits entering the 4th quarter. The Thunder kind of overwhelmed them in that 4th and final stanza to win by 19 and cover. But again, DRS, for me, the one bet you want to make here, and that's if you really want to. Now, I think OKC does sweep, but if you think the Grizzlies have any bit of fight left in them, you can bet the 8.5 for them to cover to keep game 3 competitive. But if you think this is not a sweep, it happens in game 3. Because if it's 3-0 OKC in game 4 in the opening round, with the tumultuous last month we have seen for this Memphis franchise, the dismissal of head coach Taylor Jenkins, where they are right now through the play-in tournament, and as the 8th seed, it's over if OKC even wins game 3 by a single point.
Yeah, and you can even thread the needle even better than that by saying, all right, instead of taking the full game, because we always talk about like the cream rising to the top and Oklahoma City might just be able to overwhelm you, I can guarantee you this. Oklahoma City doesn't win the first quarter, it's like, hey, all right, Memphis, that's going to give us a little bit of a jolt in the arm. But if OKC comes out and wins the first quarter in Memphis in game number 3, we might be looking at another 20-point victory. So if you think maybe they can get life and, a genie in a bottle and, let's wish us through this game, they better have a lead at the end of the first quarter. And with that price point there, they're going to be getting points. So if it's 32-17 OKC like it was in quarter number 1 last night, don't even play the rest of the 3 quarters. It's already over. Memphis has to win that first quarter in their next game in game number 3 at home, or else I don't think they win that basketball game, and then we are getting a sweep.
And listen, the Grizz at plus 295 on the money line there obviously has one scenario. They need to win game number 3. If you think a gentleman's sweep is likely, a 2-to-1 price for OKC to win in 5. Plus 220, I think, is the exact number. So it's better value for game 3, but there's a couple of ways that OKC could win in 5. Memphis could, I guess, avoid a sweep in a 4th game. We are not expecting that to be the case. DRS, I said the bet on the Thunder entering game number 2 was OKC series correct score to win in a sweep at minus 115. That's now minus 172 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Better price, though, for the Thunder to win in 4 than the shortest total games market, which is just 4 at minus 185. OKC a minus 50,000 favorite, DRS.
Just might be a wrap. You know what we can do, too? Wear the Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys at home here. Shake it up and get beat by 50 in those jerseys would be a good look. How about that?
You're not a big fan of the Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys, as I am learning.
Just move the team. Just move the team. Yeah.
NBA championship odds now.
They're so close that we're barely going to be getting any value on the plus side of things. I think there's a little bit of value on the Blue Jays today, but it's an awesome division. Like, I don't want to see teams running away and be up by 12 games in first place. We want to see teams constantly battling for first place.
They hit a team total. I love that. So as many times as we get bad beats, you do get the same amount of good beats typically in your direction if you wait long enough.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
11 times now without a major, 14 times at the Masters. He finally has the green jacket. Rory McIlroy.
The best sporting event so far this year. It's better than Super Bowl. It was better than the NCAA tournament. It had ups and downs. It had roller coaster rides. It had history, legacies. It had everything you could ever possibly want.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
NBA championship odds and where things stand right now after we have seen 5 game 2s in our 8 playoff series in the opening round here around the association. DRS, it also should be noted that of our 15 games so far in the actual NBA playoffs, 12 of the 15 have stayed under. Our only 3 overs so far have all been in the Eastern Conference. Knicks, Pistons, game 1. Cavs and the Heat, game 1. And then last night, a rising total of 229.5 does go over in Dame's return, but the Pacers still win 123-115. Have we seen monumental odds shift? Not in the series outright prices, which change game to game, day to day, but in the overall outlook to win a Larry O'Brien trophy? Not really. The Thunder still the favorites at plus 170, still holding on to that 15-20 cent distinction in front of the reigning champs in Boston at plus 190. And the only other team with a triple-digit price, the only other team at 5-1 or shorter, the Cleveland Cavaliers at plus 490. Perhaps the biggest move, at least based in order DRS, the Golden State Warriors leapfrogging the Lakers 18-1 on Golden State, 21-1 on LA. Does anything really stand out to you in terms of these updated, and I say that in air quotes, NBA title odds?
It's so interesting to me. Again, I always get a kick out of the number 2 overall seed in the Western Conference at 95-1 to win the NBA Finals, and they're down 0-1 in their own series in the first round, which again correlates to the Golden State Warriors at 18-1 because apparently they've already moved on to the second round and crushed the Houston Rockets over the next 3 games, which then brings me up to my next point, which I still see the Clippers there sitting at a 28-1 price. As good as Kawhi Leonard played, that team is healthy. Now they're 1-1 locked into a great series with the Denver Nuggets. We'll see how that plays out, but I've always had my eye on the Clippers. But the top 3 teams, it's what it's supposed to be. OKC showing you through the first 2 games. They're ready for the fight here. It's inferior competition. We're not messing around. We're blowing the doors off of that team. The Boston Celtics, we're just waiting on for them to play the Cleveland Cavaliers and see how much that goes down. So for me, the only, again, spot that I would look at is the Clippers, but I just get a kick out of, once again, the Warriors at an 18-1 price because they already smoked the number 2 seed, and the number 2 seed might as well not even made the playoffs according to the NBA odds.
And yet, Houston is a 3.5-point home favorite in our final game of 3 in another triple header of game 2s around the NBA playoffs. Stand up for the NBA regular season. That is what Donnie is asking the Rockets, their fan base, and the entire city of Houston to make it have some semblance of significance in this opening round series. DRS, to me, the only value that I see right now is that 28-1 number on the Clippers. If we get the version of LA that really we have seen in both of the opening 2 games against the Nuggets, but certainly in game 2, that to me could be a team you would not want to step in front of. The only thing that gives me pause in betting that number at 28-1 or a 10-1 price on the Clips to win the Western Conference crown is they are the 5 seed. Even if they knock out the Nuggets, their next series is against Oklahoma City. That would be the prove-it time for the Thunder, right? You handle business against the lowly 8 seed in Memphis, even in a sweep. Congrats. That was what we expected to happen. The next series against really either the Nuggets, because if they prevail past LA, it will be no easy task. But if it is the Clippers as well, that's the one for the Thunder. You don't have the postseason experience. You have not earned that playoff pedigree just yet, despite being the NBA's best team, frankly, really all season long. That would be the one. If you believe in playoff acumen, Kawhi Leonard and some of the Clippers have that a little bit more than Oklahoma City. It's just a tough matchup for LA in that next round where they're going to be an overwhelming underdog against the Thunder.
Yeah, and things have to play themselves out. Does it look like we're going to get a lot of monster upsets in round number 1? No, it doesn't. So those price points won't change, accordingly outside of the Golden State Warriors, which looks like their price point moved just based on them winning 1 game against Houston and said, okay, we expect them to move on. Let's limit the damage here and put their price point as if they had already won the series. But I'm interested to see the Boston Celtics. Is this a long-term injury for Jason Tatum, and how will that affect it? Because that price point's slightly lower at a plus 190 price, but nobody's looking for it. If Tatum doesn't play the rest of the series against the Magic, are you worried? No, they probably still sweep the Magic, even without Tatum, with the depth on that team from what they have and the ability to play good defense, and the Orlando Magic not being that great of a team and also being a lower seed. So that's the way I approach that price point there. But again, interested in the Clippers at this point. Look, looking down, the Knicks don't give me anything at 39-1. The Timberwolves, solid team, 34. Don't give me any. Like, who can raise to that next level, which still does bring into, and I don't think they can win a championship, would be the Denver Nuggets at a 65-1 price. Like, they've been there, done that. Still might have the best player in the world. And if they rise up in game number 3 and knock off the Clippers, that price point's going to come down substantially on the Denver Nuggets.
No doubt about it, DRS, as it well should. That's also one of the, I think, intriguing points on any of those 4 teams, 3 through 6 in the NBA's Western Conference, because I actually do think there's a little bit of buyback value in the Lakers now having even up their opening round set against Minnesota. But the Lakers against the T-Wolves, the Clippers against the Nuggets, or the vice versa of this same conversation. Donnie, I think both of those series go at bare minimum 6 and probably 7. These 2 series are in for a dogfight. Your reward, if you are Denver or LA, that being the Clippers, is Oklahoma City. The Lakers and the T-Wolves either will get the Rockets or more than likely, it seems, the Golden State Warriors. Again, difficult to do, especially if that series does go the distance. Is there any value in the Eastern Conference? No, outside of maybe the Cleveland Cavaliers, but that value has kind of sapped itself, remaining around that 5-1 price really for the last month plus.
Yeah, we're having fun right now with the Pacers up 2-0 looking good. But again, once they line up against the Celtics or the Cavaliers, they're not going to look so good at that point. And again, there's still the Knicks. So much talent. It's probably as talented as any team in the East. They just don't win big basketball games. And now in a dogfight with the Pistons where you can argue they should have lost both games on their home court before even going back to Detroit. So you're right. You look at the Celtics and the Cavaliers head and shoulders above everybody else during the regular season and now apparently probably in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, again, I think Indiana's a formidable side. I think they can give Cleveland a series in that second round. Not enough for me to buy into the value on a longer price like the conference title odds or an NBA championship number. We'll talk about our 3 games around the association in the postseason tonight. But up next, a full Tuesday slate around MLB here on the Early Line.
This is Greg. He bet a long snapper would go in the second round.
The long snapper from Florida is still waiting for his name to be called.
Now this is EJ. EJ tuned into SportsGrid's draft coverage. He checked the app, tracked the markets, followed the pros. He didn't guess. He knew. Be EJ. SportsGrid draft coverage starts Thursday at 7:30 p.m. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
A full Tuesday slate around Major League Baseball. 15 games on the docket. All 30 MLB clubs in action on the diamond. We recap it for you here to end out this opening hour of a Wednesday on the early line. DRS starting yesterday inside Wrigley Field. The final series of the season already between the Dodgers and the Cubs. Might see more come October, but at least here in the regular season. Of course, they started off the MLB year officially against one another in Japan. They already had a 3-game weekend set a few weeks back in LA. Now a short midweek 2-game set in Chicago. And in 10 innings, in extras, the Cubbies walk off the Dodgers in a high-scoring tilt, 11-10.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker, 3 for 4 in that game, listing his average at 320 overall in the season. A great move and a great pickup for them. But also understand the Dodgers getting right out of the gate with a 3-0 lead in the top of the first inning. By the time they got to the second inning, they didn't even have the lead. Then post 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning. Say, okay, calm down. We got a good bullpen. We'll hold it out. Only to see 2 runs in the 8th. 1 run in the 9th, and then finally 1 run in the 10th to overcome a victory here that should have been for the Los Angeles Dodgers. 21 runs in Wrigley. And by the way, what's that, 26 hits or so in that game? A couple of errors. A fun game nonetheless, which you will see from time to time at Wrigley. But boy, oh boy, you're looking at the Dodgers like, how did we let this go down to that final out? Give up a home run, get the extras, not be able to convert, and then we get beat on a walk-off there. Big-time win for the Cubs, who've had the toughest stretch in Major League Baseball based on the record, and probably like, yes, we don't have to see the Dodgers again, and we beat the Dodgers. Like to see that.
Miguel Amaya, the solo shot in the home half of the 9th to send the game into extras. Ian Happ, the leadoff man for Craig Counsell and Chicago. 4 for 5 yesterday, DRS, and that game-winning walk-off RBI single in the 10th inning. So the Cubbies, who won that weekend set, by the way, in L.A., have now evened up the 6 games between the two sides in this regular season. 3 wins for Chicago, 3 wins for the Dodgers. A total of 9 skies over. Both teams individually going over that pregame total inside Wrigley. Yesterday, I gave our producer Joe Frizo a little bit of flack for calling it an aces affair in the matchup in Detroit between the Tigers' second-best pitcher, but not their ace in Jack Flaherty, and Nick Pivetta for the San Diego Padres, not their ace either. And yet, both pitchers absolutely dealt in a low-scoring affair, and Donnie's guy, Nick pitching Pivetta, had a heck of an outing once again. 7 innings of shutout baseball, only allowing 2 base knocks. For the 7th time this year, San Diego as a team has blanked their opposition in only 24 games. That matching a mark set by the Atlanta Braves in 1992 as the best we have seen in the last 3+ decades around MLB. San Diego wins 2-0 in Detroit.
Yeah, quieting down those bats, too. I like the top 4 in the Detroit lineup. Carpenter, Torres, Green, and Torkelson combined 0 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 4, 0 for 4. That's the way you get started. And also understand this. It takes really good pitchers, which Pivetta has been tremendous this year. 7 innings pitch, as you pointed out, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts here. But handing it over to a very good bullpen to close the door, which includes Suarez, again, with a clean 9th inning, 1 strikeout, no walks, no base hits, no earned runs, and his 10th save of the season. So they can win both ways, defensively and offensively. I thought this game would stay under the total. 2-0 easily clears that bar.
7th shutout in 24 games. The Padres now win their 5th game on the road, as we did see the Dodgers fall last night, and San Diego wins 17-7 atop the National League West once again. But not the best record by their lonesome around MLB, as the New York Mets stay hot. 6th consecutive win for the Amazons. Their second 6-game win streak already this year. They beat the Phillies yesterday in Citi Field 5-1. Christopher Sanchez exits early, DRS, the starter for the Phils with forearm tightness. Francisco Lindor stays hot at the dish. The Mets as a team stay hot. 6 wins in a row.
Yeah, Phillies had a lot of guys left on base last night. They had 9 of them here. Just couldn't cash in when they needed to. The New York Mets did. It's 5-1. You'll get this from the Phillies. You get good stretches and really bad stretches. It's just a matter of which team is hot come late August into September for the playoffs at this point. I'm not panicking on the Phillies, but I don't love what I see. But it looks like that Sanchez injury isn't as bad as previously thought. But again, further testings will conclude that. Rangers Suarez looking to come back to that lineup, who was very good at the first half of last year before getting injured. But the Mets right now are a better team than the Philadelphia Phillies, top to bottom, just the way it is.
3-2 win for the Guardians yesterday at home against the Yanks, despite Aaron Judge going a perfect 4 for 4 at the dish. Now batting .411 this year, but only one home run in his last 16 games. The Guardians have taken each of the first two in that ALCS rematch this week. Hour number 2 comes your way up next.